these next lot of tips should help you in terms of how to approach a cheat day or a cheat meal. Tip number 1. On the day itself, be as physically active as you can. I'm talking double gym sessions, going out for a longer walk, just trying to be as active as you possibly can. Just try to keep moving and burn as many calories as you possibly can. Maybe even save your leg session for the day of the cheat day or the cheat meal, just so you know you're burning off the most calories possible, because that's going to be the biggest muscle group to train. You're going to burn the most calories. Or adding in certain techniques to your training sessions, such as doing supersets, drop sets, triple sets, giant sets. These kinds of things are going to get your heart up higher, you're going to burn more body fat, more calories, and you're just going to get more intense work done. Doing these kind of things will just make it so your total daily intake for the day, including what you've burnt off and what you've put inside yourself, 3,000 calories sounds a lot better than 5,000 calories. Tip number 2. The day before and the day after, keep your protein intake normal, but reduce your carbohydrate and fat intake. Because more than likely, on your cheat day or cheat meal, these two macronutrients are going to be the ones that are going to get absolutely destroyed. So for example, rather than looking at your macros for the day, let's look at it as a weekly total intake. So because you've lowered your carbs and your fats on this day, and then you've had a really high one this day, but if you add them all together, it's not going to be as high as if you kept your fats and carbs normal on these 2 days and then had a really big day on this day. A total weekly intake of 1,400 grams of carbs sounds a lot better than 2,000 grams of carbs. Tip number 3. On the day itself and the day after, make sure you stay very hydrated, mainly because you want to keep flushing these bad toxins out of your body that you're going to be ingesting through food. And more than likely, you're going to have a very, very dry mouth because you're going to be eating foods that are higher in salt, higher in sodium. So it's going to make you a lot more dehydrated. So drink up. Tip number 4, having a cheat meal or a cheat day. This is going to come down to a few things. It's going to come down to personal preference, what you know your body can get away with, how lean are you currently, what is your current situation in your fitness goal, and how mentally are you craving certain foods and how much stress is this putting on your body. I'm going to take me for an example. Now, I'm not saying this is the right way or the wrong way. This is just me experimenting and doing what works best for me. If I wasn't doing an intense competition prep, then I would definitely have half a cheat day. I would more than likely have a very good breakfast, then I can train. It's very highly unlikely that I want to eat something dirty, something really high in fats, high in carbohydrates, something that I'm not usually used to. Otherwise my gym session is probably going to be a little bit sluggish. So usually I get a good breakfast in, I work out, then I'll probably have a cheat lunch and a cheat dinner. However, if I was doing a competition prep, I would only have a cheat meal. And as the competition gets closer, I will cut cheat meals out altogether and introduce something called a refeed, where I push my carbohydrate intake a lot higher and bring my fats and my proteins down slightly. But this is for another video. This is not, a refeed is not a cheat day or a cheat meal. It is calorie controlled and you know exactly what you're putting into your body. On these half a cheat days, if I have if I have a cheat lunch and a cheat dinner, I will try and eat as little as I possibly can in between that time. Maybe just having something like a calorie-free fizzy drink, just to, if I'm a little bit hungry in between, but I don't want to overdo my calories too much, so I try and leave as little food as possible in between that gap. The same would go for if I had a cheap breakfast. I would ensure I go to the gym to burn off as many calories as I possibly can, but I would also try and eat as little as I possibly can by the time it gets to dinner time, just so my overall calories isn't stupidly too high. So I would still only have half a cheat day. So that's how I would personally choose between a cheat meal or a cheat day. My advice would be experiment, see how your body reacts to certain foods. Do you feel extra sluggish after half a cheat day? If so, then only have half a cheat meal. If you feel like you can maintain your physique with half a cheat day, then have half a cheat day. It also depends how lean you are, how much you're mentally struggling, these kinds of things. So just experiment and see what works best for you. Hope you found them tips useful, guys, and hopefully you can use them in your fitness journeys. I'll see you soon for more Dan Rayner's fitness tip videos.